Welcome into Hitting Hard with Jon Chuckery. It is draft day in the NFL. So much excitement around the draft. And of course, we are going to talk about it. Yes, my one and only mock draft that I do annually. We're going to go over that. We'll talk about some more of the draft thoughts and philosophies and what the Falcons may or may not do. And he's back. Talk about that and a lot of other things. It is Hitting Hard with Jon Chuckery on Locked On Sports Atlanta.
This is Hittin' Hard with Jon Chuckery, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta. And it starts now.
Welcome into a draft day edition of Hitting Hard with Jon Chuckery. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. We ask you to head over to YouTube, youtube.com, go in the browser, search out for Locked On Sports Atlanta. Find us there. Hit the subscribe button. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you think. And we appreciate you giving us some feedback on the show. Also, too, personal Twitter page at JMCH316. The day is here. It is NFL Draft Day. And what do I have here? So, for those new listeners to Jon Chuckery and my brand and everything like that, the week of the NFL draft, I do one and only mock. I don't do 50,000 mocks. I don't put everything into a simulator and, this guy here and all that kind of stuff, all that crazy. I don't do all that stuff, okay? I do one mock every year, and I pick straight through. I don't do trades because trades are ridiculous. You can't sit there and anticipate what other GMs are going to do. You pick it straight based upon where the Falcons are going to pick. So I do one of these a year, and I do it in the sense of not what I think the Falcons are going to pick, who I think they're going to take. I do this as if I'm the general manager of the team, and I have to fix my football team. And I have to make my football team better today than they were yesterday. Got it? So we don't do trades. We don't do craziness. And I also don't make picks where a fourth-round pick is with a first-round guy. Not going to tell you Kayvon Thibodeau is going to the fourth round in the draft and the Falcons take him, like some of these goofy simulators and stuff put up out there. These are guys that I expect to be there, give or take a little bit, but picks that make sense for the Falcons. So, ready? Here we go. All right. Round number one, pick number 8, I take Jermaine Johnson out of Florida State, defensive end. Highly productive player, was at the University of Georgia, transferred over to Florida State, became the ACC Defensive Player of the Year. Everything that you want in a defensive end, and the ceiling is only getting higher and higher for this guy. Now, he may be a guy that gets enough intrigue that he might not even be there at number 8 when the Atlanta Falcons pick. But my caveats on all this are, whether it's Thibodeau or Johnson, you have to take a pass rusher first and foremost. You have to take a pass rusher first. What if the top 3 guys aren't there? Then you take the next damn guy. Take the best pass rusher at 8. Stop overthinking this. Take a guy whose job is to go whoop around the end and he goes and sacks the quarterback. Don't overthink this. No wide receivers, no safeties, no corner. Don't overthink this. I think Jermaine Johnson will be there. I'm taking him with the 8th pick overall, round 1, pick 8 for the Atlanta Falcons. Now, round 2, pick number 43. I've said before, ideally you trade back up in the first round to get your quarterback, but since I don't do trades in this draft, I take Desmond Ritter, quarterback out of Cincinnati. I like Ritter a lot. I think there are a lot of intangibles about Desmond Ritter. I think there is something to look. The most important thing you can do in the NFL is win. Maybe you don't have all the stats and the physical traits and this and that. Can you win? I think Desmond Ritter is a winner. He lifted that Cincinnati program up. He did so many good things for a program that, let's face it, small school and didn't get a lot of hype, and it took them to the college football playoff. Now, no, he had a lot of good players around there, and I'm going to actually talk about another guy, teammate of his, but I like Desmond Ritter's intangibles. I don't know if he's got the size, the arm strength, the beat, bada boop, bada zap, bop, bop. Okay? I saw Dan McGuire play. He had the size and the arm strength. He had the $1 million arm and the 10-cent head to go along with it. So Jeff George. Nobody had a better arm in the history of the world than Jeff George, but he had a nickel for a brain. and he had a P for a Valentine, as my friend Bo Bach would say. So I take Desmond Ritter, pick number 43, round number 2, quarterback out of Cincinnati. Now, round number 2, pick number 58 for the Falcons. I take Logan Hall, defensive end out of Houston. Now, I'm going to put a caveat on this in a second, but let's talk about Hall. Big kid, 6'6", 283 pounds, runs all right. He's a 4.88 guy, but he's a guy growing and developing, probably fits best in a 3-4 scheme as an end. A lot of upside still to him, a guy who can get after quarterback. Now, my caveat is, and I don't think that he will be here at 58, but if he is, I want to take David Ojabo, the defensive end out of Michigan. Now, obviously, Ojabo is one of the more intriguing prospects in the draft because highly productive his final year in college, but had the injury at his pro day. Does that knock him? I mean, he would have been probably a top 10 or 12 pick. Does that knock him out of the first? Does he fall to the second? How far down the second does he fall? If David Ojabo is available at 58, that would be my number one preference. Okay? It's possible, but not likely. Understand? So I take Logan Hall, edge player, defensive end out of Houston. So we've made 3 picks. 2 of them are defensive ends whose job is to go get the quarterback. See the pattern here? See what I'm talking about? See the understanding here? I'm fixing the Falcons for you. Round number 3, pick number 74, Alex Pierce, wide receiver out of Cincinnati. We talked about Desmond Ritter. Well, his favorite target was a guy who is a definite physical wide receiver. Maybe not some of the top end speed, but again, he's not too bad at 4.41, but certainly a guy who has the frame and can play as a strong wide receiver. We know that this team needs guys who can catch the football, guys that can play on the outside. Again, maybe not a guy who's running downfield and running away from people, but he's tough. He works the middle of the field. And when you talk about the way that this offensive line plays, it can't block anybody, and the fact that you're probably going to either have a Marcus Mariota or a young quarterback that doesn't need to try to make a lot of reads and things like that and wait on guys to get open. Pierce is one of those guys that he's got the physical tools. He can play over the middle of the field, and he can help a quarterback out. So he's my pick at round 3, pick number 74. Pick number 82 in the 3rd round, Jamari Salyer, the offensive lineman out of the University of Georgia. So here's the thing about Salyer. He's got a lot of work to do, but he's played at every position on the offensive line. He's taken snaps everywhere on the offensive line. When you start getting into this part of the draft through the middle rounds, even at 3rd round, I'm looking for guys that have some versatility. Maybe right tackle, maybe he's a guard. But the fact that he's at a high-level program, played at different positions, isn't necessarily a bad thing. Most people say, well, he doesn't have a position, Eddie. Okay, but they do that at Alabama all the time. How many guys that get drafted at left tackle also started at right tackle and interior line before all the top NFL picks go away, and then it's his chance to go take over the left tackle spot? So versatility is a good thing, and he's a mountain of a man. He's 6'3", 321 pounds. He's got to probably work a little bit better on his run blocking, probably a little bit better on his pass blocking as well, but certainly a guy that's worth a project and worth trying to see, obviously coming off the national championship with Georgia. All right, when we get back, we will finish up the second half of my mock draft as we'll talk about rounds 4, 5, 6, and 7 as we get ready for draft day with the Atlanta Falcons. It is hard with Jon Chuckery on Locked On Sports Atlanta.